a hidden factor causing your pain, and it's not what you think. A commenter recently asked about chronic pain, and I wanted to take a moment to discuss that with regards to microglial activation. Now, in a healthy system, the nervous system has a built-in volume for pain. Microglia can turn that signal up with cytokines and pain mediators, and if there's real danger, and it can turn it back down once the healing begins with resolvins and protectins. So when microglia stay activated too long, they start changing pain pathways. They release inflammatory chemicals that make nerve cells more sensitive and more reactive. Now, the same input, like a small bump or a mild flare or a bit of stress, can feel like a much bigger threat. And the signal itself hasn't changed that much, but the brain's response to it has. Now, I had a patient once, and she had a history of a few head traumas. And this was dating back maybe 15 years ago. Now, here recently, she struck her head on the car door. And not real hard, but it was enough to really start activating that particular pathway again. And it caused the also familiar migraines, the feeling of pain in the head, and then she started having other neurological manifestations down her body. Now, was that trigger really responsible for all of those neurological complaints? No, it's actually more associated with microglial activation in the brain, sensitizing the brain to a larger amount of pain with regards to a minor amount of trigger. Now, that doesn't mean that the pain's not real. It doesn't mean that it's an imaginary. It's a real thing, and it's just a chronic inflamed state of microglia. Now, if the only focus is the original injury, the joint, the muscle, the knees, the whatever, the deeper pattern gets missed. Now, for a lot of people with Lyme, mold, autoimmune, post-viral syndromes, or trauma in their history, pain lives in the nervous system, and it has been taught to stay on high alert. And microglia are a part of that memory. So recovery isn't just about fixing the spot that hurts. It's about calming the brain's immune system and changing the terrain so those pain signals are moving through and not getting stuck. So if your pain feels out of proportion to the cause, you're not weak, you're not exaggerating. Your nervous system may have had its volume knob turned up by chronic microglial activation. And in my book, Silent Spark, I walk through how infection, toxins, gut issues, trauma, and stress can retain and retrain the microglia and pain pathways, and what it looks like to start turning the volume back down over time. If you want to understand why your pain feels so stinking loud and how to begin calming that system, follow along. I'll keep breaking this down piece by piece. Have a great day.